Welcome to Unit 3, Microsoft. In Unit 3, the first software that we're going to look at is Microsoft Word. Microsoft versus Google Suites. In business, businesses use Microsoft products. Google Suites are largely used by school districts because they're such a benefit to students who do not have Microsoft, and it also allows students to share and collaborate. In the business world, regardless of what field you're going into, businesses have a lot of issues with security and privacy. For example, they have lots of financial information and product information that must be protected. Thus, businesses do not use Google Suites. Thus, it's important for you to learn Microsoft and learn it very well because, regardless of the career you're going into, you are going to be using either Excel or Word or both. I know my brother is in agriculture, he uses Excel all the time. I just met an engineer who talked about using Excel all the time. So if you can, make sure you get certified in Excel and Word before you leave Stillman. All right, now looking at a Word document. When you first open up a Word document, you're going to see that the default setting is Calibri size 11. And if I hit the enter key on the first line, you notice that the spacing, there's a space between each of the backwards P's. These backwards P's indicate a hard return. So this is not how you really want your document set up with all this extra spacing. So it's important that you learn how to use the default settings to change. So the first thing we're going to do is change our font setting. Normally we would want Times New Roman 12. So if I go to the font dialog box, that's that little arrow right here, and I click on that, and I type in Times New Roman, I can also use Arial, and then I'm going to change this to 12. Then I need to come down here where it says Set as Default, click on that, and say I want all my documents to be based on this type of template. I'm going to click OK. Now I've got, if I look up here, I've got everything changed. But then now I need to go to my paragraph dialog box. And where it says after, I need to make sure that's 0. So we want the before spacing and the after spacing to be 0. I'm going to come down here at Set as Default, All Documents, and say OK. And notice now that my document has changed. It is no longer having extra spacing. And if I open up a new document, notice that the new document is the same. So we have changed that template. We're going to exit out of both of these. And then now we're going to go into a document that is already open and already set up. And we're going to do this to learn some features. So the first thing we want to do is Control A, and we want to make Control A will select your entire document. We want to make sure the whole page is on Times New Roman or Arial, and we want the font size to be 12. So now if I look, I have Times New Roman 12. We're going to first start with setting up our headings. I'm going to triple click on the first line, and I want to turn that in, since it's the title of the document, I want to turn that into a title. So if I come up here to my styles and click on the drop down, if title is not listed here, as you can see it's not, if I go to applied styles and type in title, then apply, it will automatically apply that title. And we're going to center it. Now I can add color, I can do a lot of different things, but one of the effects I can add is I can add a glow. So I can come down here and add a glow to that text to make it stand out. Now, here is my Designing Your Yard. This is my first side heading. Notice that underneath that, here's a paragraph followed by a hard return, which means we're starting a new section. So here we have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. These are not side headings. So I'm going to come up here, and we want to make this side heading look different than these. To do that, I'm going to put my cursor at the beginning, and I'm going to go up to my border icon, and I'm going to go down to horizontal line, and I'm going to select that. And notice it put a line in. If I select the line and double click, I can change how my color or how the color looks on my, I'll go a little lighter. And then I can also change the width dimension. Click OK. So now I have a divider. If I click on that and do Control C, come to the end and do Control V, I now have my two borders. Now I can also go down to the second page where I have another heading. Right here I can do Control V because I still have that pasted, and then I can do Control V, and now I have everything separated. So largely horizontal lines allow you to separate sections. All right, now I'm going to come down here, triple click on step 1. We're going to turn that into, well, actually we're going to come up here. We're going to triple click on designing your yard, and we're going to change that to a heading 1. I'm going to go to applied styles since I don't see heading 1 there, and then I'm going to hit enter. So now my heading 1 has been applied, and I think I'll bold it, and maybe I'll add a blue color to it. There we go. And then I can come to my Format Painter tool, double click on that, and I can scroll down to my second page and add that formatting onto that side heading. All right, and then I'm going to come up. Now I can take my step 1, I triple click on that, and I'm going to go to my styles, and notice that I don't have a heading 2, so I can come in here and type in heading 2 and hit, yeah, fix that, there we go. Control Z is great for restoring. So I'm going to type in, we want heading 2. I'm going to apply it. And then I can also, I think I'm going to italic that. And then I'm going to exit out of this. And I want to add, if I go to my line spacing, if I look, all of these little icons will give you a screen tip. So I'm going to go to my line spacing, and I want to add a space after the paragraph. Now, if I triple click on my Format Painter tool, come down to step 2, I can add that same formatting to each of these steps, which, if you can tell, makes formatting much quicker. Then I hit escape to get out of it. All right, so I have my first page set up. I'm going to go to my second page. I'm going to remove these extra paragraph lines, right? And then I have 3 headings here. I'm going to make this into a heading 3. If I don't have a heading 3 here, I just go to my heading styles. I just type in heading 3 and apply. And I also want to make sure I add some space after that. Oop. Let me put my cursor at the end there. Since it's not giving me what I want, I can go to my paragraph box and I can say after, I want that to be 12. Now I have a space there. If I put my cursor on general appearance, I can copy that formatting by double clicking on the Format Painter tool and just selecting. You notice it just copies my formatting. Then I'm going to go down to landscaping tools. I want to put in my horizontal line because this is a header. If I come up here to the top, click on my Format Painter tool, I'm going to only click on it once because I only need to copy one thing. Sometimes the formatting can get frustrating. There we go. Now, a couple tools here that we're going to talk about. You notice that I have a section here, I have a section here, and I have a third section. So whenever I see three sections, it tells me I can convert this to a table. And you notice that the little tabs right here, those little arrows tell me that these are it's being separated by tabs. So I'm going to select the text. If I go up to insert and go to my table icon where it says convert text to table, if I click on that, I want number of columns is 3. I want by tabs. I'm going to say okay. And then I can come up and add a design of my choosing. And then I also want this to fit tight. So if I go to auto fit, I can auto fit to contents. Then the last thing I can do is Control E to center. One of the fastest ways to select a table is to go up here and click on the cross. It'll select the whole entire table. Now I have an extra paragraph marker here I want to get rid of. Now, what happens if I decide, hey, I really don't want this in a table? If I click on the cross, go up to Table Tools, Layout. Over on the right side, I have Convert to Text. I'm going to click on that. I want to convert it to by tabs. Say OK, and notice now that it's gone. So I can now have it out of a table. So what happens if I want to put these, center this by tab? On the left side of your ruler, you're going to have to turn your ruler on. To turn your ruler on, you go to View, all right, and you want to find the ruler in the Show button. And you just click on a little check mark there, and you'll get your vertical ruler and your horizontal. So I'm going to select my text. Let's say I'm going to move this back to the 0. And let's say I want to separate these by tabs. Here is my little tab icon. If you click through it, you notice that it'll keep changing. It has a lot of different versions that you can put in, but the L is for a left tab. Now, let's say I want my first column to be on 1. I want my second column to be on, we'll leave it there for right now. And I want to have a third column. So I'm going to put that on 4.5. Maybe I'll move this one to 2.8. Right now you notice it's still not centered. But I do have 3 tabs up here, which is what I want. If I put my cursor in front of garden fork and tab, you notice how it's all lining up. And all I'm doing is putting my cursor and hitting the tab key. So now I have a table that is centered on the page. So that's another way that you can create a table. If I want to just select this first column, I can do my Control, or I can use my Alt key. Oops, sorry. I can use my Alt key and drag down. And I could come to my home and I could change that color. So I can make each one of these by using the Alt key. I can Alt and drag. I can change the color of each one of these columns. So I just select in front, then Alt and drag. So that's what you call a vertical selection. There we go. So there are other tools. I'm going to get rid of this extra paragraph marker. There are other tools that you will be using. Most of your tools will come off the Insert tab and the Design tab. If you notice on the right side, you have options for watermarks, page colors, and borders. As always, when you're exploring a software, you're going to start left to right. So you're going to start with your menu bar, and you're going to look at all your features. All right, so you can see what each of them have to offer. But most of these will come from your first 3 or 4. And remember, for the ruler, it is on the view. That's it. I hope you have a good time playing around with Microsoft Word. And I'm going to delete that. And so there is my final product. And I've got it formatted pretty nice. And to get rid of this extra page, I just backspace up. Then I would save my document. That's all. Have fun and have a good time working in Microsoft Word.